Okay, I'm a coming here. It's just as usual, gotta pour my coffee, gotta get my coffee. That's how it is, that's how I roll. They're all stirred up nice. And here I am. Yes. Now listen, I got a lot of things to say. Hi guys, hi gals, gotta say that too, right? I want to make a few things clear here. First of all, I'm an amateur, so like if my photography skills are not up to par, well, you're just going to have to put up with it or move on, because I'm not, here to give you professional photography skills or anything like that. Essentially, I'm here to share what information I've learned over the years building PCs, tearing them apart, putting them together for about 2 decades now. Okay, so that aside, I realize it's been a while since I've made any videos or anything like that, and I did get an email from somebody here going, well, putting, it politely, he's like, poop or get off the potty type of thing. Well, that's my prerogative. If I want to poop or if I want to get off the potty or whatever I want to do, I'm going to do it, because I'm a family man and I have priorities, I have a life, and I'm just, giving information. Like, I still have these beet greens. Here, let me show you this. I still got these beet greens I got to contend with. I got to sort them all through, because, the gardening wasn't that good this year season where I live, and and then there's like these carrot tops, which make really good flavoring in soups and stuff. Oh, they're nice and dry now. Good. Believe it or not, carrot tops are good. Don't chuck them out. Not when you grow them in your own garden. Okay, this is excellent flavoring in soups, and high in your vitamin, there's a name for that, carotene, right? Anyway, it's good for you. You got to take that. Better than parsley, it's really got some good oomph to it. Okay, and then dried, I think my chives are dried out, my homemade chives, not very much. It wasn't really good season this year, but anyway, and then the flowers. Save your chive flowers. It's very, very aromatic, very good for cooking. Now, I know this isn't a cooking show, but listen, I just want to point something out here. Okay, if you can grow your own garden growing, soil growing herbs and vegetables, do it. You're a creature of this planet, and everything's so chemically processed these days, and it's really not the best food. The stuff you get from the grocers, like, they're trying to keep it last as long as they can on the shelves before you buy it, and they take a lot of shortcuts and cheats, and that really walks on your nutrition. Okay, nothing beats good old-fashioned garden grown vegetables. If you can do it, by all means do it. And I'm not just talking about vegetables, I'm talking about herbs, things like that. Your body needs these things, okay? They should make a song, I don't know. King Crimson came up with a song, 20th Century Schizoid Man, But we're becoming 20th century, 21st century synthetic man, synthesized man, 20th century chemical man. It's not the same. It's not good. It's not good for up here, your physical, your psyche. Speaking of physical, there's another reason why I've been gone for a long time. I've been having some health issues. Finally got the doctor to give me some antibiotics. Yes, I'm cheating. I'm using antibiotics because I can't throw this thing, 2 months this whole summer I've been struggling with this respiratory problem. And, like they call it a summer cold, but it's not a cold. And I know that because I remember I had this once before, and I beat it with antibiotics. I was going to try not use antibiotics this time. A complete fail. So, there it is. I've got antibiotics, so here I am. I'm feeling a little stronger. Okay, but this is like, I'm Edward King. I'm the guy from Two Old Geeks, Dumpster Divers, PC Reclamation. I haven't put up a video in a while. Life happened. And another one of the emails I got was telling me, hey, you know, you talk too much. You talk too much about other things. Well, you know what? I like to be personal with my viewers. Give them a little bit of personal insight into my life and stuff like that. I figure as an older person, you know, someone who's a senior, that's my prerogative. You know, I maybe, you know, have some other bits and snippets of wisdom to impart to you, the viewer, type of thing. Like, I mean, I appreciate the critique, pardon me, but I kind of have an idea, I think, of what I'm doing. You know, I know my motive for why I do what I do. And just cleaning this up here. But in spite of all of this, being a senior in his 60s and stuff like that, I also have children, because I had to realize life goes on. See, here's some personal stuff again. I'm talking again. And so I made a bunch more children, because children are awesome. And, you know, I've got a 12-year-old right now who's doing great in school and everything. And my girls, like, they're winning all kinds of awards here. These are all like school awards, you know, that they keep getting awards. They're great students. They're great kids, charismatic, you know, really just bubbling over with all kinds of enthusiasm and exuberance, you know. Pardon me. That, you know, it's a good thing to see this in children, right? And, you know, life goes on. This is the big lesson. If I could impart any wisdom to you, the viewer, outside of, you know, computer building and rescuing PCs from dumpsters and stuff like that, I would like to tell you this, and I would like you to meditate on it and ask yourself all the many different ways that life goes on, because it's many layers. It's many levels. Life goes on many different levels, okay? So think about that, because it goes on many different levels. You know, I mean, everybody's heard life goes on, but I want you to meditate on those 3 words, because life goes on many different levels. Okay, there's more to this than what it appears at face value. Okay, life really does go on with you or without you, but life goes on. Okay, and you have a choice. You can be part of it, or you can choose not to be. Okay, and I chose to be part of it. You know, after my first marriage and watching my children grow and become really awesome, dynamic people, you know, just like they're awesome. You know, they, like, I could bore you with all the details, because you know how proud parents are, right? But really, my first 2 turned out so good, I wanted to make more, okay? And of course, the wife was not interested in something like that, and so I got me another wife, you know, to make more children. Now, some people might condemn me for that. Hey, life goes on. Okay, some people might not approve of that, but life goes on. I love being a dad. I love children. My first 2 didn't want to have children, and I mean, they were so dedicated to, I'm not going to have children. I mean, they were so hardcore about this that I thought, well, fine, you know, I'll make my own grandkids then. You know what I mean? Anyway, so there it is, you know, and I'll tell you, they're grandchildren. These 3 other daughters, they are grandchildren. They were just, you know, I'm so proud of them. I really think they're going to be great contributors to society, the community at large, because they just so love life and they so love people, you know, and they're just awesome contributors in so many different ways. And sometimes I'm just like, I'm amazed by them. I see some of their accomplishments, what they're doing, and I go, wow, you know, these are my daughters. These are really my daughters. Wow, you know. But I realize, I digress, okay. So anyway, I got this old computer sitting here, right, and I'll just kind of show you a little bit of it. I don't know how well you can see it because it's not really, that's not what this is all about. But this computer belongs to my 8-year-old daughter, and it runs really well, and it has inside it the Intel anniversary chip. I'm trying to remember the number, the G385 or 328. Anyway, all it is it's kind of an oddball because it's a dual core Pentium Haswell chip, right? But when it first came out, it was so celebrated by the gamers. I think it's like the Silver Anniversary Edition, Intel Silver Anniversary Edition. A lot of gamers really like this chip because for less than $100, you could overclock this chip to 5 gigahertz. Okay. Now later on, Intel did a little bit of micro coding on that, and thanks to Microsoft, they hobbled the chip. Okay, I'm going to just tell them what, I'm just going to say what they did. That's what they did. They hobbled the chip, so it doesn't quite perform like it used to because it was not an unlocked chip, but yet you could overclock with it. Okay, and yeah, so a lot of gamers just, it was a rave. I mean, for a budget chip up to 5 gigahertz, you know, are you kidding? They were raving about this chip. I mean, the gamers just love this chip. Overclockers just love this chip. I mean, because it was for less than $100. So, of course, we're talking, you know, single core, you know, single thread performance type of deal. But, I mean, really, for gaming, what more do you need? In most cases, you don't need more than that, right? Okay? Except those games that use multi-thread technology. Not very many do, even today, even now. But this computer's for an 8-year-old girl. And I made it a whole lot more complex probably than it should be for an 8-year-old girl, but she likes it. She likes the attention. And I like giving her, pardon me, her options. And yeah, I still have that respiratory problem. And anyway, so I'm on antibiotics right now, so if I seem a little weird, but I always seem a little weird because I'm a little different kind of guy. But I'm a PC enthusiast. Now this computer did not come out of a dumpster. No, it did not. Okay, and you know, I'm going to include this in my Dumpster Diver series because it's kind of peripheral. You know what I mean? Like, it's still PC building, and there are some other things to it. Okay, like for example, I don't know if it'll show on the camera because I didn't set the camera to look. That's another criticism I had, you know, that, oh, I think I already mentioned this, that I talk too much. Well, hey, you know, you don't want to listen to me talking, you can move on, because you're going to hear me talking about all kinds of things. You're going to hear me talk about my personal life. You're going to hear me talking about my computer because I regard my viewers as my friends, and I give them a little bit of insights into my personal life and stuff. And I'm not the only one who does this, by the way. You know, I could wrap off a few other PC buffs kind of guys that do that too. You know, I'm human. I'm not putting on any fronts here, you know. What you see is what you get, you know. And I'm sorry, ladies, I didn't comb my hair, you know, like I normally, you know, slick it back for y'all, but you know, I mean, for the ladies, right? You know, I mean, I don't care what I look like to the guys. Anyway, you know, that's my personal, that's my prerogative. To take even that attitude is my prerogative. How I look to others is, you know, my business. But anyway, so this is what you get, Mr. Natural here with messy hair and the whole bit. But I want to get down to, you know, explaining this, okay? This is a recycled hard drive. This is a recycled hard drive. This is a recycled hard drive. This one is, I believe, yeah, these two are brand new. Okay. So I'm just trying to explain to you, a lot of people will get a computer, and then what they'll do is they'll just hurl the whole thing in the garbage, and there's nothing wrong with the hard drives. The hard drives are fine. Don't do that. Don't throw away your hard drives, okay? And then other people go, well, destroy them before you throw. Why, if they're functional? Why would you want to destroy a perfectly good hard drive if it's functional? Okay, I understand. Clunk drives, as I call them clunk, K-L-U-N-K, clunk drives. They are a little dated, okay? But they still serve a function for storage, and backup, things like that. And also cold storage, okay? And I want to touch a little bit on cold storage before I begin with the rest of the spiel here, okay? I want you to think about cold storage. If you have a bunch of hard drives kicking around and you're not really sure what to do with them, and you've already got your backups all set up and everything on your computers or your computer, consider this: cold storage. You can get programs, even freeware programs nowadays, that will take a drive image, and like people like Acronis, Mini Tool Partition. I actually bought Mini Tool Partition because that program, and no, they're not paying me. I don't do stuff like that. That's another thing. I feel like I can talk freely and jump all around the place and say what I like and say what's on my mind because I am not monetizing. I am doing this as a hobby. I don't get paid for this. I don't get paid by anybody, and that's what I love. Freedom of speech, baby. I can say what I think and what I feel, as long as I'm not being totally obnoxious and violating somebody else's space or whatever. I mean, they're free to go watch something else anyway, but my whole thing is I am not beholden to advertisers, okay? But I do want to say, I use Mini Tool Partition, and it has been an excellent recovery program, and I bought the professional version. I recommend you get the professional version. You can use as many computers as you like, and it's a lifetime guarantee. Like, you buy it once, you got a key, you can use it for a lifetime. And they'll just keep giving you the updates. Anyway, I've recovered so much data from so many drives with that Mini Tool Partition Wizard. I'm actually giving it my endorsement, okay? But here's the point, okay? Oh yeah, it's not that cheap. It's not that cheap, but come on, lifetime. Lifetime, guys. Never have to go, there's a lot of these things that go, hey, $39.95 or whatever, and then every year you got to renew them, right? I don't like that deal, okay? I've got this Mini Tool Partition Wizard for as long as that company's, alive and kicking. So anyway, and they've been around for a while. They've been around at least a decade, I'm pretty sure, and yeah. So pick your own company to do your own drive image, okay? I'm not telling you who, but you can copy your disk, an exact clone replica of disk to disk, okay? You got a bunch of empty hard drives kicking around, do this. Then, here's the thing. Take them and put them in a corner somewhere in your storeroom. Don't connect them. Don't use them. And here's my point. Why? Because if you're using Windows, and I'm not saying other operating systems don't do this, but if you're using Windows, I can tell you from personal experience, System Restore doesn't always work, okay? Windows Backup is a joke. It's laughable, and I will say, ha ha, Windows Backup, what a joke. And pay attention, Windows people, because ha ha, Windows Backup, what a joke. I have tried to save so many operating systems with Windows Backup and have them fail on me and lose all my data because Windows Backup will not work. Okay, and I'm going to tell you that it's been my experience that over 60% of the time, Windows Backup does not work. I mean, you can back your data up, but when you're in an emergency, you lose everything. Try to write the data back onto another drive and see what happens. 60% of the time, guys, it doesn't work. Now, you do a drive image, all you do is you take that hard drive, you put it into your computer, you connect it, your faulty drive, disconnect it so that your computer doesn't get confused, right? Because it's going to be using the exact same registry keys, exact same data, the exact same bootstrap, the whole bit, right? So you want to make sure that that other drive is disconnected. Put in the cold storage, right? There you go, you've got the whole thing. You've got it exactly the way, the day you made it. Now admittedly, it's not, it doesn't have all the data that, you know, followed after you made the copy. So if you can access your other disk first and take all the files off of it, even though the operating system doesn't work, you can still access the files, and there's a way to do that. If you don't know what it is, maybe one day I'll explain to you, I'll show you how that can be done. It's so easy. Okay, and you drag and drop those files onto a USB stick, and then you can put them back onto your cold storage, right? You've got the whole thing set up the way you want it. Okay, take the hard drive if it's not so damaged, or your SSD if it's not so damaged, or you know, you reformat it, set it up right, and then do another drive image from your cold storage back onto the original disk. You'll have everything. You won't lose an ounce. You won't lose a drop of data. Okay, that's why cold storage is such a good thing to use. Okay, anyway, more on cold storage at another time, but I did want to share that with you because cold storage is the best way around this bogus, half-baked Microsoft backup system. Okay, all right. There are people, I'm telling you, I've heard people say you can't run dual boot anymore. You can't do Microsoft Linux dual boot. I've got news for you. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You just got to know how to do it, all right? And I'm going to get into that at some point, telling you exactly how to do it and a way to do it so that you don't have to worry about Microsoft, you know, bleeding into your Linux or vice versa or any of that kind of stuff, okay? And so anyway, my daughters, they use Linux. They're very happy about Linux, okay? But they also use Microsoft because there are games and things that they play that can only be used with Microsoft, unfortunately. And I'm moving over to Linux myself. I'm using it more and more frequently every day. And I would recommend that if you haven't tried Linux, give it a try, because it's not like it used to be. It's really like with Linux Mint 19.2. It's really user friendly, and guys, Linux is really the future of computing from an operating system standpoint. Microsoft, okay, is like you've never used a computer before, and you need the training wheels. Okay, that's what Microsoft is all about. All right, and you can get your subscription, and if you can't be bothered, fine. But you know, if you are enthusiastic about computers and you want to learn really how to use a computer, or you want to build your computer skills, Linux is the way to go. I think it's like 96% of the commercial industry uses Linux for their computers, not Microsoft, Linux, okay? And there's a good reason for that. And I want you to just, you know, I'm not going to get into this whole big long spiel about Linux either, but I just want to put in a plug for Linux, because thank you, Linux, for giving me an alternative and my daughters an alternative. You know, there's some things about Microsoft I'm not too happy about, and especially that latest stunt that they tried to pull with Windows 10 and their built-in keylogger that you have to go and get third-party software to actually stop, because it doesn't matter how many times you deactivate it, it will reactivate after you do a Windows update. And then, you know, you've got Microsoft hanging over your shoulder, breathing down your neck, recording every keystroke that you make on your PC. And that's the one thing I don't like about Microsoft. And I'm going to talk on and on and on about this, because I'm thinking if enough people actually blow the whistle, okay, and instead of ignoring the elephant in the room, perhaps Microsoft will get the message and stop being the jackasses that they're actually being, okay, and respect people's privacy. But you see, this is the thing. They want you to respect their privacy, and they want you to respect their property. And so they have proprietary rights, okay, so that you respect their property. But what they don't do is they don't respect your property. You don't respect your proprietary rights on your hard drives, okay? I've had Microsoft mess up data on drives where there was no Microsoft operating system. They had no business touching those other drives, okay? Because they don't respect my proprietary rights. They try to own my hardware. It's my hardware, okay? I licensed their software, but they take liberty with that license, okay? And they act very licentious concerning my own hardware because they don't respect me, the consumer, the user. They don't respect me. But they want me to respect their EULA, their user end license agreement, right? Well, I've got news for you, Microsoft person, okay? I don't respect what you're doing. And I am not going to acknowledge what you're doing, okay? I am going to start going to Linux because you don't respect people. You don't respect their proprietary rights over their own hardware. You want me to respect your proprietary rights? You will not get my respect for your proprietary rights, okay? And in much the way that you, the corporation, which is not really a person, I refuse to accept that a corporation is a person, okay? And because you're not a person, I will lie to you. I will lie to you because you're a corporation, you're not a person, okay? And I will say, oh yes, I'll check the EULA, and then I'll disagree. Okay, I'll change my mind without even telling you. Just like you do to us, Microsoft, just like you do to us. All right, because you're not a person. You don't care about people. All you care about is the price of lunch. Now I'm going to change the subject here. I'm going to move on to what's going on here. Okay, so I told you about all these used drives that run just fine in this system rather than me throwing them out in the garbage. Okay, and I've got, you know, wires disconnected here, power lines, and all this stuff, you know, that I'm doing. And I told you that I'm only using a dual core CPU in this unit. All right, that used to be a really hot item, the anniversary edition of Intel's chip. Oh, here's another cue for me to do my talking and educate some of you, and maybe some of you might really consider what I'm saying and take some of what I'm saying to heart, because you know, I'm not as dumb as I look. Anyway, Intel. How long has it been since Intel first admitted, even though they knew about it before and that's already been proven, admitted their problem, their big problem, the big, huge, 10 million pound elephant in the room, Spectre meltdown. Okay, how long has it been since they made it aware? They actually made it public. It was publicly, you know, officialized. They knew about it months before. Okay, and if you go to their website and you do the Intel, you know, who is vulnerable, they'll say everyone. Everyone who owns an Intel processor chip is vulnerable to Spectre meltdown, okay? Because it's an architectural issue. You can't fix it with software. I don't care what they tell you. You can reduce your chances of being affected by Spectre meltdown with the Microsoft updates, okay? Any firmware updates they may have, okay, fine. But you are still vulnerable. And until they change the architecture, you'll always be vulnerable if you have an Intel processor chip. Like 98% of them are vulnerable, all right? Okay, anything made in 1995 and up, practically, okay, you are vulnerable to Spectre meltdown. And I've heard people say, well, it's never happened to me. Boy, what an attitude, okay, what an attitude. Never. Those are the people who are going to get hit eventually. You know, it's just karma, baby. I don't know. Anyway, never happened to me. It's not a concern to me, you know. listen, it's a concern. It's a concern. Unfortunately, it did happen to me. I lost, I think it was 1.2 terabytes of data. I'm watching this thing just roll. I couldn't believe. I thought what was happening was the check disk found an error and was rewriting my memory addresses. No, it wasn't. It was Spectre Meltdown. At the end, after it was finished doing the whole process, I lost all my data, 1.2 terabytes of data. Okay, so, and it's not pretty. And I went on YouTube to actually watch a video of Spectre Meltdown in action, and that is identically, that is exactly what I saw on my computer screen. So I know that I got hit by Spectre Meltdown. Okay, it's not a pretty thing when it's rewriting all your memory addresses. You think it's fixing your system, and when it's done, your whole disk drive is stripped. Okay, now Intel's done nothing. They have done nothing to fix this at the hardware. There is no hardware mitigation here. All right, that's their technical term for it, hardware mitigation. They haven't done it, and they don't intend to do it. And I started wondering to myself, why would a billion-dollar baby like Intel be so reluctant to change the architecture of their CPU when they can? I mean, AMD is free from this. I mean, there are some special circumstances where they have proven it can be attacked or can be done. It's really a theoretical thing. But why can't they? Why won't? It's not a matter of can't. It's a matter of won't. Okay, I got to thinking. Here's what it really is, and they'll never admit this, but I really believe this is what it really is. You know that agreement they made with NSA and the back door on your CPU and all that kind of stuff, right? You didn't know about that? You didn't know about the agreement that Intel made with NSA so that they could spy on you and every other American and European and anyone else, Canadian, you name it, person having an Intel chip? You didn't know about that. You didn't know the back door that Intel agreed to. Well, you should research it. Look it up. See, now here's the problem is, like, the hackers knew about it. In fact, the hackers knew about it years before Intel coughed up and admitted it. Okay, and they sold tools on the dark net, how to take advantage, of this exploit, how to use this exploit, this backdoor exploit that Intel had in all Intel processor chips. Okay, you think I'm putting you on? I'm not. Okay, and you're not going to get. Kerry Holtzman won't tell you this. Okay, most people won't tell you this. Okay, actually, Wendell will. If you watch Level 1 Text, Wendell's that dude, he's right on. He's up front. He's an upfront guy. Oh yeah, he knows about it. Okay, and there are some enthusiasts. Okay, that aren't beholden to any company. Okay, they're not so. They haven't sold out. Okay. They're going to tell it like it is, all right? They're going to tell the truth about Spectre Meltdown, okay? So Wendell from Level 1 Text will tell you the truth. Kerry Holtzman won't. He won't tell you the truth. And that's okay. That's his right. That's his show and that's his right, okay? But he's such a Microsoft fan. That's okay. I know where he's coming from. I was once upon a time a Microsoft fan. He's such an Intel fan. And that's okay. I was an Intel fan too. And I'm not saying he's not an AMD fan either. But I'm just saying, yeah, he knows where his bread is buttered. Okay? That's my advantage. I'm not monetizing. Okay? So, I'm going to give you the snippets of information you might not get elsewhere. You might not hear it anywhere else. Okay? But I'm going to give it to you because I'm not beholden to any advertisers. I'm not beholden to Intel. I'm not beholden to AMD. and I wear a Kingston HyperX t-shirt because, you know what? The boys at Kingston are straight shooters, and they really, and they're not giving me any money, but they're straight shooters. They back their, all their stuff, okay? I can tell you a story about them. I can tell you a few stories about Kingston, okay? All right? But I'm going to tell you that they back their silicon, okay? I'm a HyperX fan. Actually, you know, this t-shirt here is a little tight on me because my large one, my daughter's snuck on me, so I'm wearing my daughter's actually, but it's funny, right? Yeah, they got HyperX t-shirts from Kingston, the good HyperX people, the good people of HyperX, the good Kingston people over there at Kingston, okay? They sent us all free t-shirts. All because I just complained about one SSD that, well, it bricked on me, which is really weird because I've never had a Kingston SSD ever do that to me in the past or ever since. You know, it was just a weird anomaly. But, you know, and I think they were surprised, you know. But not only did they go and send me a bunch of free t-shirts, HyperX t-shirts, okay, because we're HyperX fans. You got HyperX memory SSDs, you name it, okay, because they make good stuff and they make affordable stuff, like quality, but affordable quality, okay. I like that, okay. And no, this might be a plug for them, but they're not, you know, giving me anything for this. It's just they treated me right. I like to stay with a company that treats me right. I like to stay with a company that, you know, treats me like a human being, I guess, you know, respects the fact that, you know, I'm a contributor, and anyway, so I get all these t-shirts in the mail. and I get a replacement SSD, a better quality than the one that bricked, okay? But, you know, that's another story I didn't want to tell you about, but, you know, I you know, may as well let you know why I do what I do. And so, you know, here's the thing. I speak freely, and that's why I'm not monetizing on this channel. And that depends on Sparky, right? Because Sparky and me, we got a different thing going there. That's a different channel. I may monetize on that channel. I don't know. That's a thing in the making, right? But anyway, I don't think I'm saying anything to offend anyone. Oh, well, maybe I am with Intel, okay? But you look it up. You do some real serious in-depth research on Spectre Meltdown. They're not fixing it, because if they fix it, NSA is going to lose their back door, okay? The hackers know about it, and the hackers were selling tools until everybody had it, and everybody could take advantage of this exploit. So then they started giving away the tools. All right, giving away the hacker tools on the dark net, how to exploit Spectre Meltdown on all Intel processor chips. There's hardly an exception, people. There's hardly an exception. All right? If you have an Intel chip, you're almost 99.9% for sure vulnerable. And there's no fix for the vulnerability. It's an architectural problem. There, you heard it from me. All right? You got it. Guess what kind of CPU I'm getting next? I'm getting an AMD processor chip. I paid the price of being a fanboy, guys. I'm going to tell you something. You don't have to be a fanboy. I mean, it's okay to be a fanboy, just as long as you're not a fanboy to the exclusion of all others. Look, you're not married to Intel. You're not married to AMD. You're not married to these things, all right? So, I mean, it's nice. You know what? I still use my Intel stuff, but I'm aware that I'm not all safe, and you're not safe. You are not safe. No matter how much you think you're safe, you're not safe. You know, when I lost mine, my data, I was running Kaspersky, one of the best virus systems going, with not just Kaspersky virus scanner, but Kaspersky Total Care. I don't blame Kaspersky for this, okay? Okay, it's not their issue, all right? It's Intel's issue. It's an architectural issue. But I'm just trying to say, don't think you're safe. There is no 100% safe, okay? You heard it from me. You heard it here. Remember that. There's no 100% safe, okay? There's always a hacker out there who's going to try to figure out a way around it. There's always a way, all right? There's always a way, okay? So don't think you're 100% safe. That's why I recommended the cold storage. That's why I also recommended the mini tools, Partition Wizard, because it does a whole lot more than just partition, okay? It does a lot of good stuff, all right? It's a really handy tool to have. You won't be sorry. If you get it, you won't be sorry, okay? All right, and so those are products that I recommend, all right? And I really do recommend making a complete snapshot image of your operating system and putting it on a shelf somewhere, okay? Because it's a very good chance, okay, that you can save all your data. Also, do the snapshot thing, you know, with your other files, so that in the event that it packs in, I'm going over the steps one more time with you. You slide in your old cold storage drive, right? And then all the files from that date onward, you know, the new files that you generated, you take and drag them on, drop them onto your cold storage, or put them on a USB stick to put on your cold storage, or whatever, transfer them to your cold storage drive that is now warming up, right? Get it all the way you want it done, format the other messed up drive, and make another drive image to it. Okay, there you are, an exact copy. You don't lose anything. You don't, because if you trust in Microsoft's backup, you're setting yourself up for a big disappointment. I promise you, you're setting yourself up for a big disappointment. I have made backups upon backups upon backups. It's just like your system restore point. How many times have you tried to set up a computer and you try to go to your system restore and it says that there's no system restore points, and you know you've already made a dozen? Okay? This is what I mean. All right? You can't depend on these guys. They're not reliable. Okay? And you know, this way, you know you've got another copy in storage. Cold storage. I just can't rave on about cold storage enough. Now, I get a little bit of a raspy throat here. I didn't plan on telling you about all these things, but may as well while I've got the camera rolling. I was really going to do an unboxing. Okay, not a review, but an unboxing. Okay, so you can see I need to do, I should get one of those things that Carrie Holtzman has, with those Lazy Susans. Okay, I need to do a bunch of wiring here. You know, it's a mess, it's a disaster, and all the hard drives need to be rewired. This little computer, this is I think an eSATA cable. Anyway, this little computer, or actually it's a cable for up here, it actually has a docking station she could use. She really likes that docking station. Anyway, it has 2 SSDs in it. It used to use an M.2, but you know what? I find, I don't know if it's this particular motherboard, or, and no, I didn't get it out of a dumpster. I actually bought it from ASUS. It's the right kind of motherboard for an 8-year-old child. The ASUS Z97P, all right? And but I don't recommend getting a Z97P had I known what I know now, and that's because weak BIOS, very weak BIOS. Okay, very unstable BIOS. It's always, I had to flash this BIOS so many times. Okay, so there you go. But that's a different matter. Okay, here. What I've got up in here, I have the one CD DVD drive, and then I've got Windows 8, 8.1 on an SSD. I think it's a Silicon. No, actually, it's a Kingston. It's a Kingston. Kingston. I can't really read it. Which brand? Which model? I think it might be a Black Fury, and then the Kingston, one of the better high-end Kingston 256, I think it is, gigabyte SSDs. That's her Windows 8.1 and her Windows 7. See, I give my daughters options, and also if one operating system breaks down, well, they've always got another. And that's part of the secret to being able to access data on your other drives. If you got more than one operating system and one Windows operating system packs it in, you can use the disk management on Windows operating systems. I don't know about Windows 10 because I don't care about Windows 10. I beta tested Windows 10 and found out what they were doing, and that's when I realized this is no good, and I tried to roll back to Windows 8.1, and boy, that's a story for another time. You can use that to reach in to the disk drive. You can actually see that disk drive that doesn't work anymore, that operating system, and yank all your special personal folders off onto the operating system that's still working, right? And then reformat the drive and go that way if a repair won't work. And lots of times, like I've said before, Windows repairs don't work. You got hit by a virus, okay, you got hit by malware, it's not working right, okay, and you can't save it, there you go. There's still a way to save your data. Alright? So, and I know all about saving data now. Okay, so I got the Cooler Master with the double pumper here for the air, and I've got a little Sapphire graphics card. And I gotta tell you something, you know, the test of time, boy oh boy, there's a lot of dust here. This thing needs to be, yeah, I just put this here, it's an extra fan, push-pull configuration for the drives. See, I got all this stuff hanging out here. I gotta, you know, redo this. But what I'm gonna do, some of you are gonna say, this is overkill, this is extreme, this is crazy, that guy's a nut. Alright, but do it anyway. Little tiny dual core processor chip, right? Little tiny dual core processor chip. I gotta tell you something. Sapphire graphics cards. Sapphire is more than just a name. Sapphire is an approach to graphics that began years and years and years ago. And they have kept that name going for well over 10 years. Okay, they've been around for a while. Okay, and they're a special division of AMD. All right, they're if you listen to the fellow, I'm trying to remember his name. He gets into the history, explains about Sapphire. Sapphire is a class all of its own. All right, make no mistake about it. It's not the same as all other AMD graphics cards, okay? Sapphire is its own class of graphics card. And I can honestly say, I can vouch for this for nearly, what, 12 years has it been that I've been using Sapphire graphics cards? I've never had a Sapphire graphics card ever fail on me. Not one. Not one, okay? There's something about them.